G'day, I'm Chris from Australian Four Wheel Driver, and today we're going to talk about 10 things that you want to know about the Generation 5 UBCo two-wheel drive electric motorbikes. Bobby, as a potential buyer of these bikes, what would you like to know?
Well, what do you mean?
I want you to, if you were going to take your Indian checkbook out and write a check and buy one of these bikes, what are the 10 things you'd want to know about this bike before you bought it?
I'm not getting it. Are we doing this now?
We're doing it right now.
So I ask you, okay.
You're going to ask me with your mouth, you're going to say, Chris, I want to know about these bikes.
How much it costs?
Typical.
That's what I want to know. How much it costs?
So there's two models and it gets a little bit complicated, but I'll try and simplify it for you, okay? Do you want to write this down?
No, I'll just watch the video.
Okay, cool. So there's two models. There's the adventure bike and there's the work bike, which is the black one. The adventure bike is licensed, you can license it for road use as a moped. So there's 3 battery options, just to confuse things a bit more. You've got a 2.1 kilowatt, a 2.6 kilowatt, and a 3.1 kilowatt battery. You following me?
Yeah.
So because they're lithium, the more expensive, the bigger the battery, the more expensive they are. So top of the range adventure bike with a 3.1 kilowatt battery is going to cost you about $9,400 plus on-road costs and dealer delivery.
That's Australian.
That's Australian, yeah. So what's that in?
So what is the on-road cost like?
On-road costs, you'll pay about $155 to register, $120 to put it over the pits, and there's a $450 delivery fee because these things come from Melbourne and they're a bit expensive to transport.
And all that is transferred to the customer, to me?
Yes.
Okay, so what
I've already got your contract signed as well.
How much is, like, so what is the total cost, which was the biggest
on-road costs? So you're probably going to pay around about $10,700 for that bike.
For the top range of the
For the biggest battery adventure bike.
What is the cheapest one?
So, I need to check that.
Many hours later.
Okay, I wasn't expecting Bobby to spring what's the cheapest battery price, so I had to look it up. Sorry, Bobby.
Has nobody ever asked you that?
No, everyone buys the biggest battery. They want the biggest GBs, the biggest battery, the longest range. Only you would pick what's the cheapest.
Well, that's only logical. If I was a Vulcan, I would want to know what is the cheapest.
You say if you were a Vulcan.
Yeah. Okay, so how much is that?
So it'll be $500 less. So total price for the adventure bike with the 2.1 kilowatt battery would be just over $10,200.
What? So the only difference, $500, and of course you would buy the big one then.
Of course.
But what is the capacity size? Like, does it have the impact on the range?
Yes, so the more power, the more battery storage, the more range you've got.
I figured that out.
Did you?
Yes, but like, what I mean is, for $500, if I pay $500 extra, right? Then there are 3 versions. The price difference is not really that substantial.
No.
So the question is the range difference substantial?
Well, you'd have to work on about a 33% drop in range. So they've got a maximum range of 130 Ks. So you'd be thinking about 40 Ks less.
So like, what is really the point of giving 3 versions when the price difference is just...
Still waiting for UBCo to make a decision. They're even talking about getting rid of the 2.6 kilowatt battery already because they've either got people buying the 2.1s or the 3.1s.
Yeah, so, because, well, of course I will buy the 3.1 because it's only $500 difference.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for answering that question,
No worries,
sir.
Bobby.
Okay, so the second question I want to know is, what will be the range? What is the range I'm looking at with 3.1?
So the maximum range is 130 Ks, and that's affected by weather, so temperature, weight of the rider, so fat person like me versus skinny person.
I will be very economical.
You would be very, very economical, yep. How hard you're riding, so how fast, and how much gear you're carrying on the bike, plus the terrain you're riding in, so if it's hilly versus flat, sand versus hard rock.
So what's the bracket we're looking at? Like, suppose you do all the wrong things and...
50, 60 Ks.
Okay. Like at Mandarin power lines, I think that's still really good.
But then you also get some power back from downhill braking with your regenerative braking as well. So,
oh, it does that?
Yeah, yep.
Formula One cars do that?
They do. This is a Formula One car
Yeah, okay. This is more like the E series, actually.
This is the E series.
Yeah,
yes, yeah.
And it sounds like those as well.
It does, yeah. It's got that little whine.
Yep,
Yeah.
it's that's so 130k as the top range.
Maximum range.
Maximum range. Okay, next question is, of course, how long does it take to charge the battery?
To charge the battery, both batteries are the same, so 4 to 6 hours, depending on the charge state and the ambient temperature. So, like any lithium battery, its performance is affected by ambient temperature and how hot the battery is. The hotter it is or the colder it is can affect the charging of the battery.
Charge it inside a freezer then.
You don't have a freezer. You don't freeze anything. How would you have a freezer? You eat all your food. Yeah. I've seen you. You have big piles of food. You just eat it all.
We cook fresh in this tea.
Fresh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's 2.1 and 3.1. Let's just talk about those. Like, there will be a difference, right, between charging those?
Obviously, yeah, because there's more storage. There's more capacity in one versus the other. So. At 2.1, you're probably looking at 4 hours maximum to charge. At 3.1 dead flat, you're looking at probably more like 6 hours to charge.
Does it come with it? I think it comes with the proprietary charger.
It comes with a hamster wheel and a hamster that you hook up, and you just have the hamster. Yeah, it comes with a charger.
Can you replace the with a human?
You can replace the legs, and occasionally you've just got to put more food in the hamster wheel. No, it comes with a 10 amp 240 volt charger. It's a smart charger, so it does all the right things with getting the battery up and maintaining it.
So, okay, can I just plug it into any shoe at my home? Like, does it need something specific?
Did you say any shoe?
Any plug, like, you know, like.
You said shoe.
Yeah, like a shoe is like the other shoe.
Have you got special Indian shoes that charge?
In India, electricians usually say, so how many shoes you have? Like
you go,
it's
2.
not the shoe, but it's the. I think,
any domestic power point will charge it.
Oh, so just
which
normal.
Is a 10 amp power point. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's cool. And can you charge it in your truck, like with the solar
I've got
power?
mine. Yeah, I've got mine set up to charge off the inverter. So it can't charge off 12 volt, but it can charge off an inverter. So I've got a 2000 watt inverter. 1,000 watt inverter would do it. And it can charge off the batteries either while we're stationary or while we're driving.
So I think these are more friendly if you're going for a camping trip, or just put them on your truck or trailer. And well, that's another question. If I want to do that, do I have to then again buy a trailer to carry this thing around? How do I do that?
If you're only going to have the one bike, you can carry it off your tow ball. So UBCo make a tow ball mount bike rack that you can actually put the bike on. You take the battery out and carry that in the car, because that's 20 kilos, so you want to lighten it as much as you can, and you can stick it on the on a carrier.
I like the answers. They thought of everything, didn't they?
They have.
So how long does it take you to do that? Like, is it heavy? How heavy is it?
Well, I'm super strong, so it doesn't take me that long. So.
That is a lie. You just made that up.
I just made that up. It's a complete lie.
Okay, so
it takes me about 5 minutes to load the bike.
Wow.
By myself.
Okay. In fact, well, we haven't done this. Do you have that with you?
Yeah, we can do that while we're here.
Okay, so when we're doing this, I think we'll put that footage on. Yep. So we'll shoot that later and put that on. That'll be very helpful. We'll see if you can actually do it in 5 minutes.
Okay.
So challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted.
All right. So that's pretty awesome. That was a very crucial thing if I want to go, if I buy it.
Makes it very portable.
Yeah. So another question. Okay, so the off-road, we can ride it. It doesn't have to be road registered, right?
Yep.
But what if I want to use it from a day-to-day use? Can I do that, like for grocery shopping?
The adventure bike you can license, and it's licensed as a moped. So in WA,
the white one?
Sorry?
The white one?
The white one is the adventure bike, yeah. So the white one you can license. This one's licensed for the road.
Wow.
In WA you can license it as a moped and ride it on either a moped or a car license. So effectively, if you've got a driver's license in WA, Western Australia, you can ride that on the road.
Not the other one,
no, not
cool
the black
one.
You can't ride the black one on the road. The police will probably pull you over and fine you. But the white one is
They probably want you to buy both of them.
That's why
that's the cool one.
The black one's the cool one.
Yeah, I want to buy the cool one. I don't want to buy the boring one.
But they're the same bike.
Yeah, just the different tires. And is there any difference in suspension, maybe?
No, same suspension.
Wow.
Just different tyres. You can't use the knobbly tyres on the road. That's why they've got the all-terrain tyres on the bike.
Makes sense.
And the other major difference is that the work bike, the black one, doesn't have a speedo and it doesn't have indicators.
I'm just thinking of something else. When we were shooting, well, we use this for our shoots, and our shoots go really smooth when we do that.
Yep.
When we were shooting, and you know, when I was riding the white one, not the cool one.
Yeah, I was on the cool one.
Yeah, you were on the cool one. And the tires were spinning, and you did something to my bike. What was that? With your cell phone, what is that? I didn't ask you at that time, but now that I'm...
You were just amazed at my technological brilliance.
Yeah, but what was that? What did you do?
There's an app. Like everything, there's an app. There's an app for the bike.
Yeah.
So you can control the power and regenerative braking settings. You can change it from learner mode, which restricts its top speed. So that's for someone that's never ridden a motorbike before.
Yeah.
And you can restrict the speed so they don't go off and crash into a tree or hurt themselves.
Wow.
Or, more importantly, hurt the bike.
So how much did you take off my top speed then?
I dropped it right back to learner.
But that is very cool. Then you can control...
Gives you time to acclimatise and get
Does
used
it
to the
also
bike.
give you extra range?
Yeah, it would do, because it's not using as much power.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's less aggressive, so it's
Very intelligent.
economy mode, basically I put it in.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
I'm happy with that, because even Toyota cars come with it in economy.
They do, yeah.
mode. It's the same system, so I don't have to feel bad. It's not a learner mode, it's just Toyota economy mode, that's what it is. We'll call it that. Okay, well, actually, it's a pretty good deal. What about the accessories? Because I see that there's that beautiful bag hanging on that cool one.
So the cool one has the panniers, so pannier frames and a pannier bag on either side, which are good for just carting gear around and not having stuff on your back. You can also fit them with front and rear cargo decks.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah, you don't like those.
I don't like those.
No.
They don't look cool.
They don't look cool.
But not everybody wants to look cool, so maybe it's more functional.
Some of us just look cool and don't have to worry about the accessories. Some of us.
But
have
that is
to
very
rely.
functional, because I remember on the last generation UBCo that you had those deck riders, and we always loaded truckloads of gear on that.
Yeah, we put all camera gear on it and
Yes.
spares and bits and pieces. You can't have a rear deck and the pannier bags at the same time. They're still working on a way of fixing that, which would be handy.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the cargo decks do make a big difference. You can load stuff up on it. I've even had one of my daughters on it.
He just made that up. So, any other accessories?
Yeah, there is a power hub coming for this model. The previous model, you had a USB and 12-volt sockets on the console. They've removed that, more for protecting from water ingress. So there is basically it's like a top hat that plugs into the battery, which means you can take the battery out and use it as a separate power supply, or you can have it on the bike and use it as a separate power supply. So
Can you charge your cameras with these batteries?
yes.
Like right now? Like,
Yeah.
whoa.
We don't have the top hat for this model yet, but
But once you have that, then you can just, then it's your
if it's just a USB charge, so
very
5 volt,
expensive portable charger.
very, very expensive portable charger, yeah.
Yeah,
But then
well,
I've seen how much money you spend on your cameras, so this is nothing.
I agree, yes. Those are 2 lenses right there.
Or a lens and a half.
Yeah, that's awesome. One thing I noticed, which I think is very cool, is that the cool bike, the black one, has 2 stands. It has a stand on either side of it.
Yeah, it's for people that get confused and not sure where the stand is. It's easier. No, being that one's a work bike, so it's more of a utility bike, more of a farm bike. You don't always have ground that leans the right way for the bike, so that just gives you a few more options, or a second option to put the bike on its stand.
So how much do they weigh, by the way?
So with the 3.1 kilowatt battery, they're about 70 kilos, 71 kilos.
And how much of that is just the battery?
20. So they're about 50 kilos empty, no battery fitted, and then between about 16 and 20 kilos, depending on the size of the battery.
Hey, do you have to take the battery out to charge it?
No.
So you can just,
there's a charging point on the side.
Good.
So, but you can take it out and charge it. So if I'm traveling with this on the back of my vehicle, I'll take the battery out, put it in, plug it into the charger, and have the bike hanging off the back.
Oh, that's clever. That's clever.
I've even charged 2 bikes on my trailer with a generator while I'm driving.
Okay, that's perfectly legal to do then.
No, we won't talk about that one.
Okay, here's the thing. So they're very, very useful when we're shooting, but that's not all the people do. That's not their job.
No.
They're extremely, I cannot actually imagine having a shoot without these bikes. They were very helpful even at the KDR shoot. So, and then I can maybe use them for my grocery shopping, but what else can you do with those?
So the thing to remember is these bikes aren't a motocross bike, dirt bike replacement. That's not what they're for. And it's all in the name. They're a utility bike, UBCo bike, utility bike company. These bikes, I like to think of them as a last mile bike. So that where you've gone on a trip somewhere, you've got a caravan or a camper trailer and you've set up and you want to go for a bit of an explore, but you can't get a vehicle in. These things will go where vehicles can't, because you can get them down walk trails and animal paths and things like that. They will climb steep ground, but as you saw when we were playing around down in the ditch down there, there is ground that they'll defeat. That is will stop them moving, basically.
Well, to be honest, that's one testimonial I can give you. I was shooting you on the white one, and I don't have much experience with these bikes. So if I can do it, so can you. Anybody can do it. The depth we have, I think, I'm very impressed with how effective they are, even at Mandarin power lines.
And they're really easy to learn to ride as well, because there's no gears. Your brakes are just like a normal bike, push bike, and they've got a very, very low centre of gravity. So that single biggest component, the battery, which is 20 kilos, is at the lowest point on the bike.
Very well balanced, yes.
So I taught my 12-year-old to ride this in about 15 minutes.
Wow.
And she'd never ridden a motorbike. My wife had never ridden a motorbike before she jumped on this. I grew up on motorbikes, on the farms and stations and things like that. So I grew up chasing sheep and cattle.
Yeah.
So I've got a lot of experience. I'm not a dirt bike rider and like that sort of stuff, or a road bike rider. But for getting from A to B and seeing stuff, these things are second to none.
They definitely have a lot of potential for the camping. I just came back from a camping trip, and if I had one of these,
I would have explored further.
I would have explored so much. Wow, man. No, I don't want to buy it. I don't have the money for it. No, Bobby, no. But here's the thing, though. I remember they're coming up with a dirt bike version, or whatever you call that.
Yep, so there's a model called an FRX1. That's
a nice name too.
Yeah, it's a very sexy name. It's a very sexy looking bike. That was due out middle of the year, 2020, but this little thing called COVID stopped production.
I knew you were going there.
Yeah, I know, it's another COVID casualty, or as I like to call it, a CC.
That's
COVID casualty. Don't put that in.
Yeah, FRX CC version. Yeah.
So the FRX1 is apparently they're looking. I haven't seen a production schedule for it yet. They are looking at another variant of the Generation 5 bike as well. That could be for corporates and requirements for a higher speed, because the top speed on these things is only 50 k's an hour.
I didn't ask you that.
You didn't ask me that.
Yes.
No, I was waiting and waiting. Didn't ask.
I missed.
So I had to drop it in.
That's not an important question. So.
Well, a lot of people are. That is one.
No, I know that's an important question.
A lot of people ask me that question,
yes.
so you mist it.
But the most important question I asked, how much it costs.
Of course.
So tell us about the speed a bit more.
Okay, so top speed's 50 k's an hour, and again, that's going to be dependent on the terrain. So flat ground, it's going to move nice and quick.
Is that all the battery can generate, or is it limited?
No, it's limited by the hub motors. And the hub motors are limited by the amount of heat they generate. So if they can't get rid of the heat quick enough, the hub motors will get hot. If they get hot, they then lose power, or the computer system on board will cut the power to the hub motors or reduce power to protect them.
I have a very funny question to ask you.
Okay, I'll have a very funny answer.
Yeah. Where is the engine, though?
The engine?
I know that's a stupid question.
No, it's not. There are no stupid questions.
I know there is. I just want you to know that I'm not that stupid, okay? But I just wanted to ask you a funny question.
The engine are in the wheels.
Yeah.
So they're hub motors.
Yep.
And they're 1 kilowatt each.
Exactly.
So, that might not mean a lot, but if you see an e-bike that you can pedal, I can't pedal on the log, the biggest motor they can have, I think, is a 250 watt. So these are twin 1000 watt. So up to 250 watt, I think you can ride on a footpath legally. Over 250 watt, and if you're doing more than 28 kilometres an hour, I think it is, it might be a bit less than that, then you're at risk of being prosecuted by the police. These will definitely get you in trouble if you ride them on the footpath.
Okay.
Because it's 2,000 watts of power, and
dangerous, yes.
You can do 50 k's an hour, and it's a 70 kilo bike with 150 kilo potential cargo and rider. That's a lot of weight. That's 220 kilos. That will hurt if there's someone on the footpath.
The thing is, like, okay, so my first introduction to these bikes was like when I tried to ride it, and there was did the front burnout.
Yep.
And that's where you get, oh, how did that happen? So that is the coolest thing that you will notice about these bikes.
Only bike I know of on the planet you can do a burnout with the front wheel.
Front wheel, and it does it consistently.
Yes.
And it is such an amazing feel. I don't know if you notice or not, but that burnout helps you stabilize it. You know, when you're riding,
yep.
sometimes you need to do that to stabilize
to get traction.
yourself. Yeah, and that is such a cool thing, that burnout is actually helping you to ride it better.
As you grow up, and, and as you get more confident on the bike, the front wheel burnouts become less and less, to the point where you can control them.
Oh yeah, okay. So, I just enjoy them.
Yep.
I can control it. Now, I think that is all my questions, and except if you want me to ask you anything, but that's it.
No, I think we've covered most of it. Here comes our fuel truck.
That's nice. So
yeah.
He won't give us away, would he? He nodded.
He nodded.
That's a win for the small man.
Just for anyone that's watching, every time we do a trip and Bobby's in the car, I've got to teach him about the finger wave. He was blown away by it.
Yeah. Hey, I tried that on this trip. Nobody would wave at my Forester.
No street cred.
Yeah. All right, so that's a wrap. I think those are all my questions. So
the UBCo Generation 5 two-wheel drive electric motorbike.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe.
Say something.
Say something. Say something.
Awesome. Whoa. Man on the log.
Man on the log.
Welcome to another session of Man on the Log. When a man is not in the dunny, a man is on the log.
Man's on the log. Try out the new Generation 5 UBCo 2x2 utility motorbikes. Someone didn't turn their radio off.
It's off now.
It's off now. Excellent. Do you want me to start again? And change it from learner mode, which restricts its top speed.
What mode? Lunar mode?
Lunar, yeah. You can take it to the moon. Yeah, it's for moon operating. No,
okay.
learner.
Okay.
Say it again, learner.
Learner. Okay. So you can put it into learner mode.
Yep.
Okay.